Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Ramika's Diary. Today we're going to be seeing some grammar in CBSE Class 7, Chapter 17, Direct and Indirect Speech. So let's get into the video. First, let's see what is direct and indirect speech. Direct speech codes exact words, while indirect speech reports the meaning in a paraphrased form. Example, I'm hungry, she said. Where are you going? He asked. So, this is direct speech because it quotes the exact words what they said. So here, in this sentence, it exactly quotes the word that what the girl said. And here, it exactly quotes the word like what the boy said. Like, where are you going? He asked. So these are the exact words what he said. So this is direct speech. Let's see the examples for indirect speech. She said that she was hungry. So this is the direct speech. I am hungry, she said. Here, she said that she was hungry. This is indirect speech because it's not using the exact words like what the speaker said, but it reports the meaning in a paraphrased form. Next, he asked where I was going. Where are you going? He asked. He asked where I was going. So, in here, it reports the meaning of the sentence, like what he asked. He asked where I was going, but in a paraphrased form. In direct speech, it does not use the exact same words like what the speaker was using. Next, direct speech. It presents the exact words of the speaker. In direct speech, it presents the exact words of the speaker. The exact words are enclosed in double quotations. So, like we saw here, where are you going? He said. Here, the exact words are enclosed in double quotations. Next, the first word of the reported speech, RS, begins with a capital letter. So this part is called reported speech. So the first word of the reported speech starts with a capital letter. A comma separates the reporting verb, RV, from the RS. Example, Ram said, Hari is a poor boy. So here, the comma separates the reporting verb. So in this sentence, the reporting verb is said. So a comma here, it separates the reporting verb with the reported speech. So like this part is the reported speech. So the comma separates the reporting verb and the reporting speech. Next, indirect speech reports the meaning of what was said without using the speaker's exact words. So in direct speech, it reports the meaning of what was said, but without using the speaker's exact words. Reported words are not placed within double quotations. No comma is placed after the reporting verb. For example, Ram said that Hari was a poor boy. So, in this example, it reports the meaning of what was said, but without using the speaker's exact words. Reported words are not placed within double quotations. No comma is placed after the reporting verb. Here, the reporting verb is said, and no comma is placed between that. Next, the reported speech is often introduced by a conjunction like that, if, do, what, or when. So the reported speech is often introduced by a conjunction like that, if, do, what, or when. The tense of the verb in the RS often changes from the present to the past. So like the tense of the verb in the reported speech often changes from the present to the past. Note about RS. Next, note about RS. If you are still unclear about what RS means, it refers to the actual words that someone said in direct speech or rephrased version of what they said in indirect speech. So, RS stands for reported speech. It refers to the actual words that someone said in direct speech, like the actual words, or also the rephrased version of what they said, like in indirect speech. For example, direct speech. Ram said, Hari is a poor boy. Hari is a poor boy is the RS. Indirect speech. Ram said that Hari was a poor boy. Here, that Hari was a poor boy is the reported speech in indirect speech. So this is the reported speech in this example. Next, direct speech. So let's see what are direct speech in simple words. It uses the speaker's exact words enclosed in quotation marks. So it uses the speaker's exact words without changing even one word, and it is enclosed in quotation marks. It separates the reporting verb, example said, from the spoken words with a comma. Indirect speech. Let's see what are indirect speech in simple words. Reports the speaker's message in your own words. Typically use that to introduce the reported clause. Often involves changes in verb tense and pronouns. Next, reporting verb, RV. The verb used to introduce the reported speech, example, said, told. So reporting verb is the verb that is used to introduce the reported speech, example, said, told. Next, transformation. Changing direct speech to indirect speech is a transformation. The form changes, but the meaning stays the same. So transformation. Changing the direct speech to indirect speech is a transformation. The form changes, but the meaning stays the same. Next, rules for changing direct to indirect speech. RV changes. So if you are changing direct speech to indirect speech, first the reporting verb changes. Example, say, says, will, say, shall, say, said. May change to tell, tells, will, tell, or shall, tell, or told, if followed by an object. So these words in direct speech may change to these words if followed by an object. So this is for the indirect speech. Next, conjunction. That is used to replace the inverted commas. So inverted commas means double quotations. So that is used to replace the double quotations from the direct speech. Next, capitalization. The first word of the reported speech is not capitalized unless it's a proper noun or I. So, in indirect speech, the first word of the reported speech is not capitalized unless it's a proper noun or I. Next, comma removal. The comma separating the reporting verb and reported speech is removed. Tense changes. Present or future are we. If the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the verb tense in the reported speech does not change. So if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, the verb tense in the reported speech does not change. So let's see some examples. I like ice cream. She says that she likes ice cream. So here the reporting verb is says, and says is in present tense. So if the reporting verb is in present or future tense, the verb tense in the reported speech does not change. So the verb tense in the reported speech. So the verb tense in the reported speech. So here, she says, says is in present tense that she likes ice cream. Here, likes is the verb tense. So the verb tense in the reported speech does not change. So look, it did not change. So in this sentence, it's like, likes. So these two are present tense. So the verb tense did not change since the reporting verb is in present tense. Next, tense changes. Past RV. If the reporting verb is in the past tense, the tense of the verb in the reported speech changes. So tense changes. Simple present to simple past. Example, works becomes worked. Present continuous to past continuous. Example, is working to was working. Present perfect to past perfect. Example, has worked becomes had worked. Next, present perfect continuous to past perfect continuous. Example, has been raining becomes had been raining. Past indefinite to past perfect. Example, worked becomes had worked. Past continuous to past perfect continuous. Example, was raining becomes had been raining. Modal verb changes. So shall becomes should or would. Will becomes would. May becomes might. Can becomes could. Next is am are to was where. Example, is becomes was. Am becomes was. Are becomes where. Was or were to had been. Example, was ill becomes had been ill. Next, exceptions to tense changes. Universal or factual truths. If the reported speech RS expresses a universal truth, factual truth, habitual truth, natural fact, historical fact, or scientific fact, the verb tense does not change in indirect speech. So, if it's universal or factual truths, then the reported speech, then the verb tense does not change in indirect speech. Examples, the earth is round remains the earth is round. 2 and 2 make 4 remains 2 and 2 make 4. Next, pronoun and possessive determiner changes. First person pronouns. Pronouns of the first person like I, we, my, our change according to the subject of the reporting verb. Example, I said I am busy becomes I said that I was busy. Example, Ram or he said I am busy becomes Ram or he said that he was busy. In this sentence, the pronouns of the first person, which is I in the sentence, it changes according to the subject of the reporting verb. So here, the subject of the reporting verb is, you could say Ram or he. Here, in the indirect speech, it became he according to the subject of the reporting verb. Next, second person pronouns. Pronouns of the second person, like you, your, change according to the object of the reporting verb, the noun or pronoun that comes after the reporting verb. Example, he said to me, you're a good boy. Becomes, he told me that I was a good boy. Next, you said to her, you're a good girl. Becomes, you told her that she was a good girl. Next, third person pronouns and possessive determiners. Pronouns of third person like he, she, it, they, and possessive determiners like his, her, its, their remain the same when converting it to indirect speech. Example, direct. He helps her. Indirect, he helped her. Next, changes in words indicating nearness. Words showing nearness in time or place change to words showing distance. This becomes that, here becomes there, now becomes then, today becomes that day, yesterday becomes the previous day, tomorrow becomes the next day. Example, direct. I am busy now. Indirect. She was busy then. So here now became then. So words showing nearness in time or place change to words showing distance. Next, questions. The reporting verbs said or told change to asked, inquired, or demanded, etc. If the question begins with a helping verb or modal auxiliary, example are will, use if or whether as the conjunction. In positive questions with do or does, these are dropped and the word changes to the past tense V2. Did changes to had V3. So V3 means past participle. The interrogative form changes to the assertive form, statement. So the question becomes to a statement. If the question begins with an interrogative pronoun or adverb, what, which, when, where, how, why, that word is used to introduce the reported speech. Example, direct. Are you a doctor? Indirect. I asked if he was a doctor. So, direct, there's a question. In indirect, it becomes a statement. A. Questions. Yes or no questions. Reporting verbs change to asked, inquired, etc. If or whether is used as the conjunction. The question structure changes to a statement. Verb tenses shift as usual. Example, do to past tense, did to had plus past participle. WH questions. Reporting verbs change to asked, inquired, etc. The WH word, what, who, how, whose, which, is used as conjunctions. The question structure changes to a statement. Verb tenses shift as usual. Impaired to sentences. Commands. Reporting verbs changed to asked, ordered, commanded, requested, advised, proposed, etc. based on the tone of the command. The verb in the reported speech is changed to the infinitive, to plus verb. Please and kindly are omitted. Let commands can be changed to request or proposals. Optative sentences. Wishes. Reporting verbs change to wished, prayed, desired, implored, etc. That is used as the linking word. The exclamation mark is replaced with a full stop. So, if there is an exclamation mark in the direct speech, then in the indirect speech, it'll be replaced with a full stop. Phrases like with that, oh that, if only, and I wish are often replaced with wished in the reporting verb, and the tense phrases are dropped. Optative sentences, wishes. Reporting verbs change to prayed, wished, desired, etc. depending on the sentiment. Structure may often becomes might, and wish statements are rephrased using wished that. Examples: may you live long becomes he prayed that I might live long. I wish I were a king becomes he wished that he had been a king. Next, exclamatory sentences. Exclamations. Reporting verbs. Change to exclaimed, cried, applauded, confessed, etc. to reflect the emotion. Punctuation. The exclamation mark is replaced with a full stop. Interjections. Interjections, example hooray, alas, are omitted and the emotion is conveyed using adverbs or phrases, example with joy, with sorrow. Conjunction. That is used to introduce the reported speech. Examples. Hooray, I have passed becomes he exclaimed with joy that he had passed. So in the direct speech, we use these words like hooray, alas, but in indirect speech, we use adverbs or phrases to describe this. He exclaimed with joy that he had passed. So we used this phrase, exclaimed with joy, instead of hooray. So hooray is changed to exclaimed with joy. What a beautiful flower becomes she exclaimed with wonder that it was a very beautiful flower. Good morning becomes he wished me good morning. Thank you becomes he thanked me. Hello, how are you? Becomes he greeted her and asked her how she was. Both optative and exclamatory sentences require careful attention to the emotional context to choose the appropriate reporting verb. So both optative and exclamatory sentences require careful attention to the emotional context to choose the appropriate reporting verb. Exclamations rely on conveying the emotion through adverbs or phrases rather than interjections. So exclamations rely on conveying the emotion through adverbs or phrases rather than interjections. Conjunction that is very often used to introduce the reported speech. Okay friends, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.